we wish I had time to grab Joe. I would grab Joe on the podcast easily.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We're live now though, so it's a little.
Oh, we're alive?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, I see it. I see. See, you caught me, man.
Yep.
You
All right, this is episode 131 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. It's the greatest time of the year, folks. That magical time when absolutely nothing is happening interesting at all in the NFL. Like literally, it's just dead. Nobody cares. There's like some rumors and stuff, but I mean, for the most part, it's just we got to fill content somehow. So, I mean, right now there's a bunch of speculation about free agency, which starts here in like a week and a half. The Browns got a stadium issue that's going on that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But I mean, right now we're really just kind of waiting to hear on the state of franchise tags, extensions, maybe something else, anything interesting. You know, we'll talk about a few things going on with the Bengals and Browns here in a little bit. But I will say both the Bengals and Browns have plenty of work ahead of them this offseason, but possibly not quite as much as Pittsburgh. Because why, Thomas?
Because Pittsburgh and Kenny Pickett's little ass hands and that weak ass amusement park they call Kennywood all suck.
That's right.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
Hey, look at that. I actually remembered to do the intro. Let's see if I remember to do the outro.
You never remember to do the outro ever. I mean, I don't mean that as a knock on you, but I kind of mean that as a knock on you. You never remember to do the extra.
I mean, I kind of need to update it anyway. Like this is the the outro, the end screen, like that's the end screen that we've used basically ever since we've been doing the podcast. So
I haven't seen it in such a long time, man. Where have it been? You know, it's just been gone for such a long time. I mean,
well, I'm gonna update it at some point anyway.
Man.
My wife got me subscriptions to like the whole Adobe suite, and I'm kind of nerding out with all this different stuff I can do with it. So
you got Adobe Suite,
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
after cuts and everything, and
yeah, After Effects. I'm learning After Effects and Premiere, and there's so like I've been like you got me Movavi, which has like served me pretty well up to this point, but there's definitely a limit to what you can accomplish with Movavi.
Oh yeah, Adobe Movavi's like Adobe for beginners.
Right, yeah, and which is what I needed, right? But like,
it's a great software. It's a great software, very good software, and it's fun. It's very fun to use. I love using Movavi, honestly. But Adobe it's what the pros use, and it gets you. You know, I mean, like it's just a lot better.
This episode not sponsored by Adobe, by the way.
No, it's not. But if y'all want to sponsor us and get some free stuff, yeah, go ahead, Adobe. Give me all the free stuff possible.
Well, you know what? I mean, like I could use some, give it to me for free. You know,
yeah.
My wife's got the student discount, but you know, I'll take the free discount. How about that?
I'll take the free too, man. If y'all sponsor us, go Adobe. Y'all way better than Movavi.
All right, so Thomas. As far as like, we should probably talk about some football on this podcast.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the football.
So what to you, what in your opinion is the Browns' biggest need this offseason? What do the Browns need to do to get better?
Linebackers. Defense altogether, just defense. Like, I mean, like I hear you asked this question before, I believe, and I kind of hinted to defense. But like I hear all these rumors about stuff that they could do on offense or players that they could get on offense. Nah, fuck that. No, we need defense. Our defense is the problem. We have cornerbacks. We have a lot of great corners. We have Ray Newsome, Greedy Williams, and Denzel Ward, and now MJ Emerson. He's looking really good. Like our corners are fine. But who the fuck is rushing the quarterback besides Myles Garrett? And that's the problem, is that we have no pressure on our defense. Not only was Joe Woods a bad defensive coordinator, but we have no pressure on the line for our defense. We need to put more pressure on the quarterback. And if we do that, then our defense would be pretty damn good.
So I guess the question is then, was Joe Woods like that much of the problem if y'all really need to put a lot more talent on the team?
No, Joe Woods was a problem. Like, I believe that our defense wasn't good, but I don't believe it was as bad as we graded out to be. What we had, like 30th ranked defense in the league, 31st. I don't believe the Browns should have. If you have Myles Garrett, you have what, 4 Pro Bowls on defense, 3 Pro Bowls on the defense side of the ball. Like, if you have Myles Garrett, and you have Greg Newsome, you have Denzel Ward, then you should not have that bad of defense. And by the way, Emerson came on very well. Emerson's a really good corner. You have some really good corners on this team. You have a strength. They should not be the worst team in the league. They couldn't stop the run for the life of them. And not only just that, the reason why personally I wanted Joe Woods fired so bad was because of the obvious communication issues on defense, and that comes down to discipline and coaching. I mean, like, I was at the game, the Jets game, when I seen Denzel Ward and Gray, what's his name, Delpit. They literally just watch a receiver run past them. They literally both watch a receiver run past them. It's not a talent issue because both of them have talent. Denzel Ward has plenty of talent. Delpit came on very strong this year. Both of them have talent. That's a communication thing. That's a discipline thing. And that comes down to coaching. You can't fix it. I mean, it's just small stuff like that. That's a whole game that we lost because of Joe Woods. If you want to know why Joe Woods should be fired, watch the Jets game.
That's fair. I will say, as far as the Browns last year goes, I didn't think they were too bad at rushing the passer. Like, I mean, maybe they didn't get home as many times as they probably could have, but I felt the Browns, and we talked about it on the podcast, the Browns just could not stop the run to save their lives.
They could. My grandma could tackle better than the Browns tackle this year.
Right. And according to Pro Football Focus, the Browns actually ranked out like somewhere in the mid-20s in terms of like overall defense last year, but it was run defense. They scored like a 39.6 as far as like their run defense grade.
Damn, man. Like you got 39.6 on your report card. Did you study Cleveland? Did you study Cleveland Browns? Did y'all study for the assignment? Because I seen Atlanta run all over y'all. Y'all lost to Marcus Mariota. Mariota didn't throw a pass.
Mariota isn't even on a team anymore.
He didn't throw a pass. He didn't throw a single pass from halfway through the third quarter to the end of the fourth quarter. Y'all still lost. He didn't throw a pass for a quarter and a half.
To be fair, nobody in the NFL got like a 90 or like anything over a 90 in terms of. So I mean, it's like, like a 30 is terrible. A 30 is
terrible. Look, no, we're not defending that. We're not defending that grade. We're not negative fear or anything. They suck.
Well, it was better than the Chargers, Bears, and Texans.
Oh wow, we're better than Texans and the Bears. Oh. By the way, speaking of the Chargers, because I can rip them too. I was watching the Chargers-Jaguars game at the Wicked Lizard. This is right when sports gambling got legal. I told my friend, I'm like, you know what? I'm putting $10 on the Jaguars coming back. I mean, who cares? They don't come back anyway. It's free money. It was my free money from FanDuel. He's like, all right, well, whatever. You're crazy. They're like, no, because the Chargers, man, that coach for the Chargers is just horrible. I just remember that Browns game. What happened? Suck a dick, San Diego.
Yeah, dude.
LA.
I mean, I've been on record saying like I thought Brandon Staley was going to be like the next big thing in the NFL, but just the results we've seen, especially this year, like my God, dude. The Browns actually ranked even lower. There's another category the Browns are actually ranked even lower than run defense.
What?
That's tackling. Yeah,
I can see that. Well, you can't stop the run if you can't tackle. Like, if a team can't tackle, I'm just going to run the ball on them. Pretty much people did.
I mean, that's probably it. But I mean, like, I don't know. If I had to put like one thing that I think the Browns need to improve this offseason to be good next year, well, to be better next year anyway. I mean, it's hard to argue with run defense because y'all were so bad at it. But like, I mean, if I'm gonna like say something other than that, I think the Browns could just like, I mean, like and I want to say this because like I don't believe in Kevin Stefanski, but I think the coaching in general needs to improve. The team needs to become more like solidified and consistent, just like as a whole.
I will say this. And I will give them this pass. And this is something that we don't really do in sports is because, we critique, but we don't ever look at the circumstance. I think the one thing about the Browns coming in this year was they weren't really put in a really good circumstance. Like, the season was over the minute Roger Goodell said 11 games. And not only just that, you got to realize that you had you still have a fairly new head coach, a fairly young head coach, dealing with all kinds of offseason drama, have to learn how to talk to CNN as well as ESPN, have to deal with all this stuff outside of football, and it's distracting the team. You cannot tell me that did not distract the team. You got this star quarterback won't play for 11 games, and it was just a weird vibe all year. This has been the weirdest football season I ever like. It was a weird circumstance for the Browns this year, and you're talking about the team that was proclaimed the most hated team in sports by some writers. I'm like damn, like I hate us that much. All we did was trade for a quarterback. It's been like very bad for like staying focused if you're a Browns fan or if you're a Browns player. So I will say that there's probably some distraction.
You say that as soon as Roger Goodell said 11 games, the season was over. I will say though, it was interesting all offseason hearing from you about how this scenario and this scenario and this scenario, all the Browns, man, if they can get to 9 games, if they just win this game and this game, but if they can just like somehow find a way to leap over, you kind of reminded me of this guy, Thomas.
Nah, see, look, they had the easiest first 4 games that you could ever get for your first 4 games. They blew it, and the minute they blew that, I was like, that was over. And I'm on record for saying that after they blew us 4 games. Because I went to the Patriots game with a ski mask on, got on Cleveland.com, this was week 6, and I looked at everybody, and I'm like, yep, the season's over. When I did that interview, fun fact, it was still the 3rd quarter. The game was still going on when I did the interview on Cleveland.com. And I'm like, yeah, it's over. As soon as you see Bill Belichick come out the tunnel, you knew it was over.
The roller coaster ride of being a Browns fan. By the way, for all of our audio listeners, because I realize that we are because we've been so mostly on YouTube for the longest time, so I apologize. But for all of our audio listeners, the picture that I was referring to, everybody on YouTube already sees, but it's the Charlie Day meme where he's got like the cigarette in one hand and he's got like the like he's trying to explain like this crazy like series of events that are all interconnected together. And that's just kind of what Thomas reminded me of last year while he was trying to explain how the Browns are going to overcome the 11-game suspension and Jacoby Brissett's going to be just fine.
Jacoby Brissett was he was okay.
He was okay. There were times when Jacoby Brissett did, I think, more than we expected him to, but I think ultimately you got what you. I think at the same time, people think that Jacoby Brissett is like some random 3rd-string quarterback who doesn't have any career. Like Jacoby Brissett's a solid backup. Like coming into the season, it's like, hey, you got Jacoby Brissett. You might not have a real quarterback, but you got Jacoby Brissett, so like you're going to be able to like. You're going to be competitive in games at the very least.
He wasn't bad.
I feel like people just basically wrote off Jacoby Brissett thinking that he was going to be completely nothing. And then when he played like Jacoby Brissett does, which is, pretty solid enough to, continue in the NFL. And this isn't even the first time he's been a starter in the NFL. Don't forget. He's I mean, he's not good enough to be a starter. I'm not trying to say that. Like, he shouldn't be a starter on an NFL team. But he's definitely kind of he's one of those typical NFL journeymen who can be good enough to get you to the next guy.
Yeah, he wasn't horrible.
Certainly was not. So, I feel like I should probably answer this question, but I'm just curious to see what you think. What do you think, Thomas, would be the thing that the Bengals need to do to improve in the offseason? What's priority number one?
Well, I mean, your offensive line was a little better this year.
Yeah. Like, I honestly, as far as the offensive line,
I'll get a running back, honestly. Like, because Mixon's not returning, is he?
That's up in the air. I'm hearing rumors that the Bengals might cut him if they don't restructure him. I would be a little surprised, but I mean, it's possible Mixon might not come back.
Real talk. If I was the Bengals, I would cut Mixon and I would draft the second round running back.
See, I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, I would move on for Pirine, and I'd pick up a guy like Chris Rodriguez or something like that in the 4th round. You know, because like the Bengals don't need Joe Mixon's a dynamic runner of the ball. Like, I mean, yeah, he's a little expensive, but Joe Mixon's a dynamic player. What the Bengals need is somebody who can block, and you don't need like a star running back to find a guy who can block.
You can find a good running back anywhere, man. It's so easy to find a good running back. That's why nobody's losing sleep about Kareem Hunt leaving. The only reason why people losing sleep about Kareem Hunt leaving is because he's from Cleveland.
If Nick Chubb left, y'all would have a panic attack.
Yeah, we would, because Nick Chubb is generational. Joe Mixon ain't generational. I mean, Joe Mixon is good.
Nick Chubb isn't even the best running back. How could he be generational if he's not even the best in the league?
Have you seen? Oh, you have seen Nick Chubb. Never mind.
I have. Yes, I've seen Nick Chubb quite a bit. He definitely looks generational when he plays the Bengals. I'm just saying, you got Nick Chubb, you got Derrick Henry.
That's it.
That might be it. But the point is, it can't be generational if there's another guy who's about as good.
That's what I'm saying. Derrick Henry might also be generational too. Like, those are two.
Generational if there's two of you in a generation.
LeBron and Kevin Durant.
But they play different positions.
They play small forward, both of them.
Oh, I see. I thought Kevin Durant was a power forward. No, my bad.
Nah.
No, that's not true. That's not true. LeBron James doesn't play small forward. He plays small forward, point guard, center, all the positions, every single one.
Well, I mean, freaking Derrick Henry ain't a running back. He's a freaking tight end.
He's not a tight end. What?
He's built like a tight end.
No, he's built like a running back. Like tight ends these days, some of them are built like running, but he's a lot shorter than your average tight end. Tight end's got to be a tall guy who can go up over top of people. Derrick Henry can't do that. That's
very true, but he's a big dude though.
He's a bulky dude for sure. Give that guy about an extra foot of height, and he could be an offensive lineman.
Look, man, you could put Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb in any era of football on any team, and they will start on almost every single team that you put them on.
By the way, I retract my previous statement. I didn't realize Derrick Henry was 6'3". I mean, that's still by NFL standards, that's like pretty average height wise. But I guess if he was 7'3", he'd be like a center in the NBA.
Yeah, he'd just be trucking old folks. Move! Get out the way! Get out the way!
As far as running back and the Bengals goes, that's a thought process. I mean, you could definitely move on from Joe Mixon and get younger and cheaper at the position. That is definitely a move. I think you keep Mixon just because of what he does for the locker room and all that. And you move on from Pirine because, as useful as Pirine is, he isn't really helping in any of the extra areas that you need that sometimes you like to kind of have from that, versatile running back. I feel like you get a little bit cheaper at that position by just replacing P. Ryan in the draft. I've been kind of saying that for years, and I'm not going to lie, P. Ryan has definitely impressed me quite a bit since then. So I definitely think he's better than I used to think he was, but I still don't think he brings that much more to the table than Joe Mixon does, other than just like a little bit of change of pace. And even then, he's not adding extra elements.
I just feel like, didn't he get in trouble again?
Who, Mixon?
Yeah.
There was a thing that happened, but like it wasn't really a thing. Like I mean, like the charges got dismissed. Nobody really there was an arrest warrant put out, but from what I understand, like from what I remember about the situation, I don't even remember exactly what happened, but there was an arrest warrant that got put out, and then it was basically just dismissed as like the police overreacted, and there wasn't really anything that happened, and the story just went away.
Yeah, of course it did.
So I don't think Joe Mixon. I think what probably happened is Joe Mixon got like drunk one night and probably said some stupid stuff, and then like it got escalated by being taken to the police, and then like the police like without actually investigating anything just like sent out a warrant and kind of like overreacted to the situation. Probably Joe Mixon got drunk and did something stupid one night, but it doesn't sound like he did anything like really that bad.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Joe Mixon is a good running back. Don't get me wrong. He's a good running back. He's a really good running back. There's a lot of good running backs in the draft that are a lot cheaper.
I agree there are guys who are cheaper, but I guess my thing is, you gave Mixon that money in the first place, knowing that you could get younger and cheaper than giving him that money, but you gave him that money because he brings a certain element to the team. And I don't feel like what we saw last year was really that much different than what we've seen from him throughout his career. Yeah, he's getting older, and you're going to want to start thinking about moving on from him soon. But I think, personally, you move on from P. Ryan, because why are you paying a backup running back that much money when you're paying, the starter what you're paying him? I mean, I know you'd save a lot of money by going with P. Ryan over Mixon, but I also think you lose a massive element by losing Mixon, and you don't lose that much by losing P. Ryan.
I'll get rid of both. By the way, are they
maybe
is Jesse Bates returning this year?
I doubt it. I severely doubt it at this point. Like, I mean, like a lot of people are like, no, he's a Bengal, blah blah blah. Like, I think personally, like Jesse Bates just wants too much money or guaranteed money or whatever. Like, he's not willing to budge on his financial state, with the team and everything like that. And that's totally his prerogative to do, right? Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think Jesse Bates is coming back, because I think he's asking for more than the team is willing to give. And quite frankly, like, he hasn't been like playing up to the standard that, like, he has this reputation of being like one of the best players in the NFL, and he just hasn't like played up to that standard in a while. So I mean, like, maybe that's because he's not getting targeted as much, but at the same time, I understand where the Bengals are coming at, where they're like, we don't want to pay you like Jordan Poyer kind of money when you're not giving us Jordan Poyer kind of production, or Justin Simmons rather. So I don't think Jesse Bates is coming back, because I just don't think the two sides see eye to eye. And I think it's just, I think Bengals fans just need to accept that he's probably going to go and just deal with it.
You want the other hammer to
I think
drop?
I know what you're about to say, though. Go ahead.
Well, Mary Kay Cabin,
Yep.
Cleveland Browns reporter, gotta love these reports, said that Jesse Bates would love to play with his friend Deshaun Watson if he hits the open market. So here I even retweet the article with you, so you can see it for yourself, Kyle. So let me just go ahead and just send this little retweet to you so you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. So, Jesse Bates, ladies and gentlemen. So, what would you do if Jesse Bates wore to play in an orange helmet next year that didn't have stripes on it?
I mean, that'd be kind of gross, right? But, like, I mean, I've kind of already come to peace with the fact that Jesse Bates is leaving. And quite frankly, like he's a really talented football player. I just haven't seen the production out of him in a while. So if he goes to Cleveland, it's like, is he going to be that much more productive in Cleveland? Honestly?
I mean, he can't be worse than John Johnson.
Well, that from what I understand, that's why the Browns are potentially looking at him in free agency because they're looking at moving on from John Johnston. Was John Johnston that bad?
The problem with John Johnson is that he talks so much, but he does so fucking little. Like, do something, motherfucker.
Sounds like what needs to happen is the Jesse Bates needs to go to Cleveland, and John Johnston needs to come to Cincinnati to be the backup to Daxton Hill. So John Johnson and Eli Apple can get together in a room and just piss everybody in the country off like constantly.
We should do that trade, man. We should do a trade for you.
No. I'm not gonna trade you Jesse Bates for John John. You're gonna have to like give us like 2 or 3 first-round picks for that. Like, I'm just saying, like, if that happens in free agency, I think it'd be funny, anyway. Especially if you're bringing in John Johnson as a backup.
I like Jesse Bates too. He's gonna look real nice in that uniform, man. Picking off Joe Burrow. Yo, yeah.
When was the last time Jesse Bates Jesse Bates is not like a ball hawk, you know. I mean, Jesse Bates is good.
And we got this guy named Greg Newsome and this other dude named Denzel Ward. They could be a ball hawks.
Yeah, I'm just saying that those guys will probably do the picking Joe Burrow off. Like,
but we need the leadership factor because the thing is about safety.
Jesse Bates has not been much of a leader.
We that?
Jesse Bates has not been much of like he's had some everything with Jesse Bates is so spotty. Like, he has had leadership moments. Like there were moments where, like, you know, he kind of led the team, like, you know, coming back and like, you know, like we're gonna like do this and that and then whatever. Like Jesse Bates has had leadership moments, but he's not like the guy who steps up and is like, you know, the big locker room guy, you know.
I just need him to be a leader on the field. Someone who have communication issues.
Again, like I just haven't seen like again, Jesse Bates is very talented, but I think most of what Jesse Bates does these days is scare opposing quarterbacks from throwing to his side of the field.
I think that, man. Anything better than John Johnson.
Well, okay, but at the same time, like Jesse,
you don't understand how much John Johnson pissed me the fuck off. Like, this man played in the Super Bowl. This man was a Super Bowl playing safety for the Rams. A Rams defense that was highly regarded. A Rams defense that was so good. They carried what's his name? Goff. I can't remember his first name because he's so trash.
Jared Goff.
The
guy who's actually doing quite well in Detroit right now.
Yeah, he's still better than Carson Wentz, bitch ass. But still, like, by the way, they were talking on the radio about Jared Goff being not Jared Goff, Carson Wentz being possibly a good backup option for the Browns, and I was just yelling at the radio, no. Not that guy. Anybody but that guy. Why can't your career die, Carson?
I get it, but
okay.
So here's my main thing about John Johnson and Jesse Bates. Like, you do realize, like, if you bring in Jesse Bates, you're gonna have to pay him like $16 million, right? Like, over the last 2 seasons, you're paying John Johnson on average about $5.5 million.
Yeah, it probably is going to cost a lot.
That would, like, you want to talk about bringing in guys to like do this, that, and the other, like as far as pass rush with the Browns and, you know, improving this, that, and the other. You bring in Jesse Bates, and yeah, he'll add an element to your team, but at the same time, like, that's a lot of elements you can't add because you're paying him that much money.
You know, I just said that we should bring in Jesse Bates just to kind of troll you, because you already know who I want. I want linebacker. Very, very, very hard on that one.
Well, if you want to piss me off, like, honestly, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to speak this into existence, but if you want to piss me off and you need linebacker, you should go get Jermaine Pratt.
That'd be great. But my whole thing is because, like, I don't. All right, I'm not feeling the DeAndre Hopkins trade idea. A lot of people in Cleveland are like, "Oh, we need D-Hop." I don't want D-Hop, for example. I don't think that. I would rather either get a receiver in the draft or get like a mid-tier receiver that is pretty darn good that just adds an element to our receiver room. I don't need top of the flight receiver like freaking DeAndre Hawkins. I just need a solid receiver. I need a solid receiver. Just a solid receiver. I don't need DeAndre Hawkins. DeAndre Hawkins is too expensive, and it's a flashy move. It don't fix our problems. We had a top 5 offense in the league with freaking Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. I need defense. No, I do not want Dalton.
Sorry, Mikey. I had my thing on a different screen. I didn't see your comments there for a minute. But hey, what's up? What's up? And Andy Dalton in Cleveland would make me very sad. So let's not do that. Like Thomas over here talking about trolling me. Dalton in Cleveland would troll me. I would not be okay with that. Like even if he's not good and the Browns don't do well with Dalton, that would make me that's like a double whammy because I want Dalton to do well. So if he goes to Cleveland, I have to root for him to do badly. And so it's like if he does badly, then Cleveland's doing badly, and that's like okay, cool. But then Dalton's doing badly, and I'm like, no. D-Hop too old. I mean, he's not. D-Hop is not too old, but he's definitely he's definitely getting near that point. He's definitely getting near that point where you're starting to like think about the value decreasing a little. But I don't think he's quite there. I think D-Hop still got a lot of talent, a lot left to give.
You know, I kind of exhaled here because the New York Knicks are tweeting at the Cavs right now because they're behind the Cavs in the standings. Fuck you, New York. All right, back to football.
Okay.
That's all I got to say about it.
Well, you know, the Giants and the Jets were both ahead of the Browns in the standings, though, so.
Yeah. Well, the Giants play for the NFC. The NFC's trash. Like, the Eagles had the easiest pass in the Super Bowl ever.
I don't know about that. They had to go through San Francisco.
No, they had to go to San Francisco. They had to go to San Francisco's 4th-string quarterback.
But he was a good quarterback.
Brock Purdy.
The part of it is they had to go through Josh Johnson. So
that's what I'm saying. Brock Purdy blew out his arm literally in the the 3rd throw of the game.
But you say that, and then the Eagles almost won the Super Bowl. Like, they literally came within, like, 2 really badly timed turnovers at the end of the Super Bowl.
We almost beat a guy with 1 leg in the Super Bowl. Oh.
Yeah, but it's Patrick Mahomes. So, like, I mean, it's a different level of I think they played up that leg injury a little bit more than it really was, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. But my whole thing is that they had the easiest pass to the Super Bowl ever. They had such an easy pass to the Super Bowl, man.
Mikey says if he was an NFL scriptwriter, no one in the NFC South would ever win in their history in the future. Why, though? Why do people hate the NFC South? Like, I don't have any problem with any of those teams, honestly. Except, like, I guess I kind of have a problem with the Bucks, but that's just I personally kind of never liked the Bucks, and I liked them a little bit more with Tom Brady, but
oh, hi, it's just me now. Okay, so
oops.
Oh, okay. Damn, I was gonna go off. I was just gonna start talking about the Brown Stadium for a second.
Yeah, we need to talk about that anyway. So say what you got to say about the Brown Stadium.
All right. So Cleveland Browns, they are the city of Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns are all talking about a new stadium. The owners want a new stadium. I'm sorry for yelling. Giuliani. The owners want a new stadium. Many people like me want a new stadium. Obviously, anytime there's debate about new stadium, or anytime there's talk about new stadium, there's going to be debate. Got the people in the city going like, oh, what's wrong with our stadium now? Oh, I don't want a dome. Y'all chill, shut up. We need a new stadium, first of all. The Brown Stadium currently is trash. Like, I hate that stadium. I passionately hate that stadium. And don't talk smack, Kyle, because your stadium really isn't that much better, honestly. If I'm being real with you, all the AFC North stadiums suck. with the exception of Baltimore Ravens Stadium. That stadium's okay. Heinz Field is trash. Freaking whatever y'all call that place, the jungle.
Acrisure Stadium, Thomas.
Whoever the fuck it's called. The stadium in Cincinnati. By the way, y'all got some great people in Cincinnati. Y'all got some very good people in Cincinnati. But y'all stadium sucks.
Stadium is the stadium in Pittsburgh. They don't call it Heinz anymore.
Y'all stadium suck too, and our stadium suck. All three of our stadiums are just the triangle of doo-doo ass stadiums, man.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue.
Like the stadium, and then y'all gonna get a new stadium after we get our new stadium, and Pittsburgh's gonna follow. Watch. But the whole thing is that there's debate about a new Brown stadium. And then obviously we're gonna get an argument of whether or not to use taxpayers' money or not, whatever. Build a fucking dome. At the end of the day, I don't care what the hell they do. Build a fucking dome, please. It's cold out here, man. Well, not today. It's beautiful today, but it's cold out here, man. I'm sick of going to games where I gotta wear 10 layers, and I gotta have a backpack with 4 more layers just to get past the first quarter. Like, it's cold as fuck in that stadium, dude. Build a dome, please. Anyway, yeah.
A dome would be interesting in Cleveland. But at the same time, if you build a dome, then you kind of lose that advantage that you get. Like, I know, like, you kind of...
Oh, wow. It's just a great advantage where opposing team quarterbacks have better records than we did in the last 20 years. What an advantage.
That's okay. That's fair. That's a fair point. It's a fair point.
We lost to the Saints this year. In the coldest game. It was the 3rd coldest game in NFL history, guys. Against the Saints. The 3rd coldest game against a team from New Orleans who plays in a dome. We lost. We lost that game, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just lucky that we still got probably about another 3-4 years before the Bengals. We really got to start thinking about a new Bengals stadium. I'm just hoping we win a Super Bowl before then, because if we do, then the city will hand over a new stadium. It won't be that hard.
It won't be that hard. Yeah, because obviously, I want to say this, and controversial as it may seem, but whatever. Sports makes money. I don't like sports makes money, and the only people who ever say sports don't make money are the stick up their ass politicians, or the stick of their ass wannabe politicians. Shut up, man. Shut the fuck. Like sports make money, dude. Like, I got the Cavs, for example. The Cavs when they won that championship downtown, they brought so much money to the bars around Cleveland, so much money to the bars everywhere by going to 4 straight finals. They literally built new buildings around the Cavs stadium because they hosted 4 straight finals. That stadium hosted the Republican National Convention. That stadium hosted the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions every single year because they renovated that stadium. Spent $150 million renovating that stadium so they could get events that in turn bring people into the city and boost the economy around that stadium. We wouldn't have any of that stuff if we didn't renovate that stadium. We wouldn't even have it. We couldn't even enjoy it. So, like, come on, man. Just build the fucking stadium, dude. Like, oh, we use that money for something else. What? Coming to your backyard to pick up trash? Man, fuck that. I don't got a new Brown stadium, but my trash guy comes to my backyard to pick up my trash. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. Build me a fucking dome. Fuck your trash, bro. Lazy ass motherfucker. Bring your trash up to the front of your driveway, man.
So let's move on to the state of the AFC North.
I can't wait for this.
Every week, Thomas, you text me and you're like, "Can we have Lamar Jackson conversation?" And we pretty much that's the only news surrounding the Ravens these days. Like, every week it's Lamar Jackson this, Lamar Jackson that. And from what I can tell, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, have you heard of a non-exclusive franchise tag, Thomas?
No.
Yeah, apparently this is a thing that exists. So from what I understand, the Ravens are considering using what's called a non-exclusive franchise tag on Lamar Jackson. Which I'm not really entirely sure what the point of that is. So I mean, like, first of all, I sort of get it. Like, it's like a $13 million price tag difference. So the Ravens would be like saving a bunch of money by using the non-exclusive tag. But from like, I don't know all of the ins and outs of what exactly the exclusive tag means, but I do know that it means that Lamar Jackson can start negotiating with other teams to potentially join them. Now, I'm wondering, is this like the restricted? Is this the same thing as the restricted free agent like thing that happens? Is this like an exclusive rights free agent thing that happens? Like, like if another team, if another team comes to a deal with Lamar Jackson, do they have to give the Ravens like some picks or something like that? Like how exactly? I'm not entirely sure how exactly that works, but I do know that it sounds like if the Ravens do this, there's a good chance that another team could just come to Lamar Jackson and be like, here is a large, gigantic dump truck of money that's all fully guaranteed. And Lamar Jackson be like, see ya, Baltimore.
No. Low key. I want Lamar Jackson to stay in Baltimore. Cause like I just think that like it would be better for Baltimore if Lamar Jackson left. Because like Cleveland's on the Hawkins to Cleveland bandwagon. Look, I think it's going to happen, but I'm not sure if I want it to happen.
Dude, Hopkins and Amari Cooper would just be like, I'm getting nervous thinking about that.
I think it's going to happen. The news came out today that Watson is willing to renegotiate his contract, which means in order for you to get somebody to say, I want to move my money back to later, in order for you to tell somebody they're going to move their money, I just got this thing in my head that's telling me they had to come up to him and go like, hey, we get this player if you do this for us. Like, but we get this player for you if only you do this. And the only player that I can think that they would do that for is DeAndre Hopkins. So I if I were to put my money on it, I'll put 10 down on FanDuel right now that the Browns will get DeAndre Hopkins. But anyway, going back to the Lamar Jackson thing, I actually think that it's better for us, me and you, that Lamar Jackson stays in Baltimore. Because if Lamar Jackson stays in Baltimore, they haven't won with him. They haven't, what have we seen from Lamar Jackson since he's been in Baltimore? For one, he's been hurt a lot. Two, he hasn't been able to win in the playoffs. Three, if they pay him all that money, they haven't been able to build around him without paying that money. Now they pay him all that money. Now they certainly won't be able to build around him. And here was the best part. He's just gonna get older. He's just gonna fill out in Baltimore over time. Lamar Jackson only got 3 or 4 more good years left anyway. Yeah. I hope he stays in Baltimore.
I don't know. I kind of hope I would be fascinated to see what Baltimore does without Lamar Jackson, because if Baltimore leaves, Baltimore is entering a rebuilding period. Like that's just facts. So like do you if you feel that Baltimore is going nowhere with Lamar Jackson, and you're absolutely certain of that, then yes, you want Lamar Jackson to stay in Baltimore and eat up a ton of money in the process. But at the same time, if they lose Lamar Jackson, they're guaranteed at least at least 3 more years probably of just really doing a whole lot of nothing. Like with Lamar Jackson, they have a chance.
Well, see, I don't want Baltimore to get to get top flight first round picks. My problem. I don't want them to get those first round picks. I
Yeah,
just
well, I
can't.
mean, it again. I don't
Like
know
I
exactly
like
what the non-exclusive franchise tag means. Does that mean that you get the picks? I'm not entirely sure. I know they would definitely get if they didn't re-sign Lamar Jackson, they would definitely get a hell of a compensatory pick. I
that's what
imagine
I'm
that
saying.
would probably net you like a third round pick at least.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. They could trade Lamar and get a whole bunch of picks and shit, and they can put themselves in a position to draft a quarterback that would be better than Lamar.
Dude, Mikey, Lamar in Atlanta would just be so much not fun for you, but fun for everybody else in the NFL. It'd just be so much fun just because of the weapons they have there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like Atlanta plus a really diverse quarterback like Lamar Jackson would just be fun as hell. Like Cordarrelle Patterson and Kyle Pitts and Lamar Jackson all teaming up. That would be crazy. I know that scares the hell out of you, but I kind of want to see that actually.
Lamar should go to the NFC, honestly, because he would do better in the NFC than he would the AFC, because the AFC is built to stop him, man. You know what I mean? The NFC, all those domes and shit. You don't got to worry about going through Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes' style of play is more efficient and more effective than Lamar Jackson's style of play. It's been proven because he can't beat those guys in big games, and he can't beat those guys in the playoffs because he hasn't. He struggled mightily against them, and it just haven't looked good at all. And if Lamar Jackson played against either one of those teams in the playoffs, I'm picking the Chiefs and the Bengals 10 times out of 10 because I like their quarterbacks better. And Trevor Lawrence, too. Like you can't throw the ball, dude. Let's be real. Like we could make these jokes up. We could do all these things. We could do this song and dance all we want. But the truth is, Lamar Jackson cannot consistently throw the ball. That's a fact. We all know it. We all know it. He can't consist. How far is that going to get you? In the NFC, maybe. In the NFC, you're in a great situation. Fine. You know, but not in the AFC, man. They're going to eat you up for breakfast in the AFC playing that style of play. And they have. Why you haven't been able to win the AFC?
So, Thomas, did you hear about the and this is a bit of a jump from what we were just talking about, but did you hear about the NFLPA putting out the team report cards and basically grading teams on like various different categories of what desirability of playing at that place?
Oh, was it like the facilities and stuff?
Facilities and the
the Browns had had one of the worst facilities and stuff. Yeah, building stadium, make it better.
On that note, actually, so do you know which team? From just a basic preliminary looking at it, obviously not adding up the numbers or anything like that. But do you know which team in the AFC North actually had the worst grade?
The Steelers.
No, it's the Bengals.
Ooh.
Yeah. But the Ravens were a close second. Actually, you could maybe make the argument that the Ravens were worse because while the Bengals had, the Bengals got an F in both their treatment of families and in nutrition. So, the Bengals make players pay for their meals, and there's stories out there about the wives of Bengals players having to nurse their babies on the bathroom floor, which is insane and ridiculous. But that also kind of sounds about par for the course for the cheap ass Bengals. But actually, I almost want to make the argument that the Ravens might have actually scored worse because, while the Bengals have 2 Fs, the Bengals also have 2 As because their strength staff and their training staff, basically the Bengals staff is absolutely beloved by anybody who's there. And their weight room graded as one of the best weight rooms in the NFL. Whereas the Ravens, they don't really... They didn't really get a grade that was really substantially great. Their locker room graded out pretty well, but other than that, their strength staff, as you can imagine, because the Ravens are always injured, but the Ravens strength staff graded out as the worst in the NFL. So I don't know. I think it's a toss up between the Ravens and Bengals as far as who got the worst grade. I think the Browns. I think you could probably make the argument the Browns got the best grade.
Let me pull that NFL report card. I was. Let me see. Yeah, the Ravens did do pretty bad. F and strength staff.
Yeah, that's the main thing because, like, their guys are getting injured all the time, and it seems like people are blaming it on the strength staff.
Yeah, the Browns. They said the Browns locker room. They say that it's too crowded in the locker room, and it just kind of like goes back to what I was saying about the stadium just being a horrible stadium. They need to build a new one. Training staff should be training staff should be an A for everybody. Like there should be like you should not have at least an A in the NFL with a training. Like you should be able to have a good training staff. That should be an A for everybody. That if you can't get an A on that, that's horrible. Training room, yeah, that could do better. It's a B plus for Browns. Strength staff, A plus Browns. Look at that.
Yeah. The only team in the NFL that actually graded particularly well, no, okay, so two teams. One of them's shocking, the other one's not shocking at all. Two teams in the NFL graded out below a C in terms of like, because you're right about the training staff. Almost every team in the NFL has a pretty good training staff at the very least. Only two teams got below a C, and that was the Washington Commanders, as I like that's no shock. But also the Kansas City Chiefs. Like what?
It looked like the Arizona Cardinals got a lot of bad grades themselves too. I don't think Arizona got.
God, is this right? So okay, so there are two teams in the NFL that got rated below a B. Like, okay, so there's 1, 2.
Damn!
Every
Washington
team
did a horrible job.
Every team in the NFL got an A as far as their strength staff goes, except for 4 teams. 2 of them got Bs. One of them was the Atlanta Falcons, who got a D, and then the Ravens got an F minus.
Oh, that's probably why Lamar Jackson was hurt so much. F minus.
Well, not just Lamar Jackson, but J.K. Dobbins and Rashad Bateman, and like literally like half of their roster just like constantly out with injuries and everything like that. And it seems like in general players are starting to blame the training staff or the strength staff rather than really any other factors, like, which is kind of surprising because like the San Francisco 49ers, who deal with injuries all the time, they graded out really well in terms of their staffs. Actually, the 49ers got across the board probably the best grade, some of the best grades in the NFL. I think the Vikings got the best, but the 49ers are pretty close.
Because, man, all that shit that the Warriors get out there and in the Bay Area, San Francisco is 10 times more love out there. So just think about that. So everything the Warriors get, the 49ers get times 2.
Mikey, I want to point this out, and I actually mentioned it. I got an upcoming video. The next video coming out on my channel, depending on when I can actually finish it, because I'm getting used to this new software that I'm using. But the next video that's going to come out on my channel is either going to be the recap of this XFL week, which actually at this rate it probably will be, or it's going to be the 2023 power rankings projections. I'm actually thinking that's going to come out on Tuesday now. But I mentioned it in that video, and you'll see it when you see it. But the Saints actually, they graded fairly well, like across the board for the most part, but they got an F minus in terms of nutrition. Y'all live in the greatest food city in America, one of the greatest food cities on the planet, and you get an F minus in nutrition? What? I mean, maybe I guess like like in general the nutrition grade doesn't mean like they don't really get nutritious, they don't get healthy food. It's generally like if you get a bad grade on nutrition, it's because your team doesn't pay for your food, or you have to pay for like the cafeteria or something like that. Like it's something weird and sketchy like that. So my question is just like, So it's not just about the level of health, because if it was just the level of health, I would understand. New Orleans food is not exactly the healthiest on the planet. But it's not that, and y'all got an F-. What?
I'd be like, give me crab legs every day, man. Give me crab legs every day.
Oh my God.
Loving them crab legs. Man, I love me some crab legs, man. I love me crab legs more than Jameis Winston loves crab legs. Man.
I was about to make that same joke. Maybe that's why Jameis Winston's in New Orleans. No, Mikey, they don't have the Saints locker room as an F-. Give me a second. Let me figure out what that was. The locker room for the Saints, they actually rated as an A. The Saints rated really well across the board. A plus, A minus, B, A minus.
Got good ownership group of things.
B plus, and then just F in nutrition. F- in nutrition, actually. Like how?
The Saints are owned by the Saints, and the New Orleans Pelicans are they have the same ownership group, and they're very professional, very organized. You can't hate it, man. It's really
no. It seems like it's a great place to be, unless you want to eat, which is like how New Orleans is like one of the best cities in America to get a great meal. So, God,
that's great.
Well, Mikey, you say their locker room sucks, but this is NFL players who are giving these grades. So, it is generally a consensus among NFL players that New Orleans Saints locker rooms are great. Apparently, your opinion of that, I mean, not to diminish you and your opinions and everything like that, but you're not the one who's in the locker rooms every day. The NFL players are, so I think their opinion here is pretty good, pretty valid. All right, but anyway, we're getting up on about an hour here. So, I mean, do you have anything else to say, Thomas?
Build a dome. Pittsburgh, we didn't talk about you a lot, but y'all still suck.
Yeah, Pittsburgh sucks. The one thing I'll say about Pittsburgh is they there's not a lot of news coming out about the Steelers lately, except from what I can tell, it seems like everybody in Pittsburgh is convinced that Kenny Pickett's like a huge star, like the next big star in the NFL.
No, he's trash.
Bro, what?
No, he's trash.
I mean, he might end up being decent, average type of quarterback, but I do not see Kenny Pickett being a great quarterback in the NFL by any means whatsoever.
Yeah, he's not good at all.
He's not a star. He'll never be one. He might be like an Andy Dalton type, maybe if he's really good.
Tomatoes a fruit, banana the berry. Ain't that some shit? Banana the berry.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Isn't that crazy? I was like, nah, that don't make sense. And then I thought about it. And I was like, is it? And then I read about it. Yeah, it is a berry.
Yes, I mean it's not round, doesn't look like a berry, but as far as the way it grows, yes, it grows the way a berry would grow.
Yeah, banana the berry. Just like tomatoes are fruit.
I mean, the thing with bananas being berries, that one's a little more of a jump. When you think about it, a tomato, we think of it as a vegetable, I think mainly because we so often, in terms of cooking, we use tomatoes as a savory product, right?
Yeah.
But how many vegetables can you think of that are people make sauces out of? Vegetables in general are not a sauce type of dish.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know how many people I know the British make mushy peas, but that's gross.
Yeah, the British, the British got
apologies to England if I'm offending anybody. But
no, offend them. What good tasting thing ever come out of England?
Shepherd's pie.
What the hell is that?
Although that might be Irish, actually, I don't know. Shepherd's pie. It's basically like a pot pie with a mashed potatoes as most of the filling is mashed potatoes, and underneath you got gravy and meat and some it's basically pot pie, just more extra.
That does sound pretty good, actually.
Yeah, shepherd's pie is delicious.
But I mean, okay, okay, fine, I can do all that. But everything else, y'all can't cook out there in England, man. I never want to go to England and go like, hey, we got all these exclusively great cuisines from England. Nah, fuck y'all exclusively great cuisines from England.
What we think of as Indian food is actually mainly a British thing. So I like Indian food.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything.
Now, I mean, like, I don't know too much about traditional Indian food. I just know like curry and stuff like that is like mainly a British dish.
I like I like soul food. Oh, grandma, them greens, them collard greens, be having a brother singing a Negro spiritual.
You need to go to New Orleans.
She getting on collard greens, really. I'd be like,
I hate collard greens.
You hate collard greens?
Well,
what about mac and cheese?
Okay, no, collard greens are all right. I really hate mustard greens, though.
I love mustard greens. What about mac and cheese? Mac and cheese.
Who doesn't love mac and cheese? What?
I mean.
I love soul food for the most part. I've never understood collard greens.
Man. I got you.
Okay. So I think that's probably a good place to leave off. We're no longer talking about football. We're talking about food, which I could do a food podcast. I really could. I'm not going to, but I could. But that's pretty much all we got for today, y'all. So as always, y'all can always catch more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/the Phelps, Butt Fumble Sports. This podcast, we're on the Spot Pod Network, so check that out, everybody. I believe right now just on Podbean, trying to see if we can expand to the other podcast areas too, like Spotify and Apple. But we'll get there eventually. But right now, like I said, Spot Pod Network, check them out. And then Thomas, you can find him at T_star94 on Twitter and Instagram, and the Thomas J Network on YouTube and TikTok. And other than that, you got anything coming out, Thomas?
Soon. I got some stuff I'm working on, but I'm still trying to get it like off the ground. I had to kind of restart everything since
that's fair.
Circumstance.
That's fair. And like I said, I got I think the next video that's going to come out is going to be the XFL week recap once all the games are finished. And then probably Tuesday, I'm going to come out with my 2023 projected power rankings. I was originally going to come out with that back on like Thursday, but I'm telling you, man, like this, I'm using Adobe Premiere now to do a lot of my stuff, and the learning curve, like for me using Movavi before, the learning curve is steep. Like, oh man! Now once I learn, I'm going to be good, and that's why I'm doing it. But right now, it's taken me a while to come out with stuff just because I'm got to learn this new software that's way more advanced.
Man, you'll be okay. I know you got it. I believe in you. I believe in the children's future. I'm sorry.
I'm older than you. I'm like 4 years older than you, aren't I?
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Well, anyway, y'all, thanks for listening. So I'll leave y'all as always with a hooray.
Go Browns.
All right then. Oh wait, no crap.